Greetings metalheads and welcome to another edition of Friday the 13th YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be uploading an audio interview with Mike Portnoy, former Dream Theater. This was done when Mike was in Dream Theater some years ago for the Falling into Infinity tour. So please listen, enjoy, please share on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, like I say, it's free. Stay safe, stay metal, and thanks for listening and watching. Thank you, cheers.
Jason, is that Mike?
It's me.
Hi Mike, how you doing, mate?
How you doing?
Not too bad, long time no see.
Yes, I remember you from the old days.
Oh yeah, I saw you last time we met was Wolverhampton, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
I remember speaking to you, like, back in the When Dreaming Day Unite days, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I was supposed to have met you in New York that time, I remember.
I think we're all getting old.
So how's the tour going?
It's going good. We're in Stockholm today, and we're about a week into the tour. It's going good.
Excellent. Alright then Mike, thanks for calling anyway. My next magazine, I'm going to dedicate it to Chuck Schnilder from the band Death, who died. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'm going to dedicate it to him. So I'm going to have Chuck on the front cover of the next issue.
Good.
Okay then, first of all I'd like to ask you a couple of warm questions. My first question is, how well did Fall Into Infinity and Scenes of a Memory sell for the band?
To be completely honest, and it sounds like I'm just sidestepping the question, but to be completely honest, I don't pay attention to that stuff. So I really don't know a specific answer, but I know that generally the last couple of albums have all done about 500,000 worldwide. In America, usually about 150,000, and then the rest of the world, maybe 200,000 or 300,000. So, usually every one of our albums has consistently sold about 500,000 worldwide, but I don't know the exact figures. To be honest, I don't pay attention to that crap. It doesn't matter to me.
Right. Okay, the next question is, so what tracks from those two albums stand out for you the best? Right.
Well, I think they're both incredibly different albums. Falling Into Infinity was a record that we made under a lot of outside pressure, and Scenes from a Memory was made completely free of any outside influence. It was completely independent. So, to me, they both bring along very different feelings. But in answer to your question, Falling to Infinity, I think, to me, the standout tracks are Lines in the Sand and New Millennium and Peruvian Skies. And for Scenes, I think Home and Dance of Eternity and Beyond This Life are probably my three favorite.
Why do you like those songs the most? Why those ones?
All the ones that were named kind of are more progressive, more, a little more, the arrangements are a little bit unorthodox. They're all a bit on the heavier side. I just tend to really prefer the heavier, more progressive stuff.
Have you ever thought of doing anything like a death metal side project where you've been into the heavier stuff? You ever thought of really pounding on the drum and giving it some?
I would love to, because I'm like the one member of the band that's really into that crap, and I would love to, but the side projects that I've done, like Liquid Tension was very technical and improv, and Transatlantic is very kind of old school classic rock. So I think I'm due to do a heavy project. I would love to do something with Dimebag on guitar and Jason Newsted on bass and Mike Patton on vocals. To me, that would be like a really cool side project.
Nothing too heavy like black metal, like Cradle of Filth. Then.
Nah,
I can't imagine you will paint on your face.
I'm into more like groove and heavy stuff, like Sepultura and Pantera and Machine Head and that kind of stuff.
What do you think to people like drummers like Gene Hogan, who used to play for Death and Strapping Young Lads? What do you think to his drumming?
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's a great drummer.
Yeah, great, excellent. Okay, my next question is, did the band play any festivals for these albums? Did he play any festivals?
For the previous ones or the new one?
Well, for the Fall Into Infinity and Scenes of Memory, did he do any festivals?
Yeah, we did. On Falling Into Infinity, we played some festivals. With everybody from Black Sabbath with Ozzy and Deep Purple and Joe Satriani and Who else did we play with on that tour? Rob Halford.
Oh, he's the god. He's the god.
All sorts of different bands. And then, on the Scenes tour, we did some festivals. Actually, all the festivals we did on the Scenes tour, we were pretty much headliners. So everybody that was playing was underneath us were, I guess smaller bands, but more progressive bands like Spock's Beard and Flower Kings and bands like that. So, yeah, I mean, every time we were on a tour cycle, when it's summertime, we try to hit as many festivals as we can.
So have you ever thought of considering playing Wacken Festival? Because that's like one of the biggest festivals in the world.
It's a matter of just being invited. It's up to our booking agent and all that kind of stuff. And, all the festivals we've done, none of them were ever in England. We're always in, Germany or Holland or Belgium or Switzerland. And we love that because, we spend 90% of our time headlining and playing to our audience. So when it's time to do festivals, we definitely prefer not headlining like we did on the last tour. To us it's more fun when you're playing to new people. We did some festivals with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant and Elton John and, some much different audiences that would normally know who Dream Theater is. So to us, that's the payback for something like that.
So how did you get on with like Elton John? How did his sort of crowd react to you playing with that style of music?
It was interesting. Usually those festivals have a diverse audience. So you'll have an Elton John, and then you'll have the Black Crowes, and you'll have Dream Theater all in the same bill. So, the audience isn't strictly an Elton John crowd. It's more a festival crowd that are open to lots of different things. So, I mean, if we were playing with just us and Elton, it probably would be a disaster. But, when you have a festival crowd, they're a little bit more open-minded. And we also will alter the set list accordingly. If we're playing a festival with Black Sabbath, or if we're playing a festival with Elton John, our music is kind of diverse enough where we could, switch the set list to either being something filled with songs like Another Day and The Silent Man and Through Her Eyes, or if we're playing with a Black Sabbath or an Iron Maiden, we could shift it to things like Pull Me Under and Home and, the heavier side, so we could kind of shift the set list accordingly.
Have you ever thought of getting together with Barney from Napalm Death and doing something like another Metallica song?
We just saw Barney. He came to see us when we played Manchester last week. He's an old friend of mine,
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm seeing Jeff from Vicious Rovers next week. Are you friends with Jeff?
No, I think I met him or a couple of the guys almost 10 years ago in San Francisco.
Right.
But it's been a long time.
Right, okay then, Mike. My next question is, how do you see each album as a progression in your own mind?
Well, every album has been different. We have we kind of have a groundwork, which is to always play heavy progressive music. That's kind of like we're kind of grounded in that, and each time we make a record, we need to maintain that sound and style, but we take that foundation and explore off of it and go into different areas. Like this album, we did a lot more experimental things, going in some stranger sonic directions, things influenced kind of like by Radiohead, and with Scenes, we took that foundation and went into a conceptual direction, and with Falling Into Infinity, we took that foundation and went into a little bit more accessible direction. So each time we try to explore new places while still maintaining a certain sound and style that the fans expect from us.
Well, I still think my favourite album's the first album, even though the production wasn't very good. I still love that album. It's still my favourite album. I don't know what you think of the first album looking back at it.
Yeah, we still play some of the songs. In fact, The Killing Hand is in one of the rotating set lists on this tour, so we still go back to that material still.
Right, okay, the next question is, so this is like a kind of like a touchy sort of subject. I mean, how much of an impact was it for you with the New York disaster? How did it affect the band? What happened?
Say it again?
The 11th of September, the disaster, what sort of impact did it have on the band?
Well, I mean, the impact it had on us as people, was profound, just as the impact it had on people all around the world, not only New Yorkers. It was a tragic, incredible, unbelievable thing. The impact it had on us as a band and our career did a few things. First of all, we were mixing in New York City when that happened, so it affected us for a couple of days. We had to stop work and everything like that, and the city was closed down. Another thing that happened was that our live album was released that morning on September 11th, and on the album cover of the live album was the New York City skyscraper, whatever, in flames, engulfed in flames. So, it came out that morning. The the Twin Towers in flames on our album cover. So it was an unbelievably tragic coincidence. And after a couple days of sitting with that coincidence, we decided to pull that album cover off the shelves, and Elektra did a recall of all the CDs, and we changed the album cover. So that was just bizarre, and got a lot of attention in America, like MTV and Rolling Stone and Entertainment Weekly. All the mainstream magazines were kind of talking about that coincidence. So it was it got us a lot of publicity in America, but not the type of publicity we would have liked.
Yeah, right, because I know Dan from Stepping Out magazine, Dan Lorenzo's in Hades and Alan. Do you know those guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like telling me about it and shit. Because I emailed Dal and asked him if he was alright in the band and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they were okay. Like, oh yeah, then Mike, my next question is, the band also recorded the triple live CD, Live Scenes from New York. What made you want to record the album at this kind of time in your career? Period.
Actually, the intention of that recording wasn't for a live CD. The intention of that was for the DVD and the video. And it was something that I really had pushed the label into doing, was filming that show at Roseland to capture the very final performance of Scenes in its entirety. And we had a full gospel choir and special guests and actors and stage props. And so it was something that we had really pushed forward, to release as a DVD. And once we had it in the can, the label kind of convinced us, being we have this recorded and in the can, why don't we release it as a CD as well? So we thought, sure, even though we had done a live album in '98 with Once in a Lifetime, if you look at the track listing on that CD and you look at the track listing on Live Scenes from New York, there's very few repeated songs. So they're almost like 5 discs of completely different material, and not to mention it was a different lineup with Jordan now in the band. So it seemed to make sense, So we went with the idea.
Excellent. So are you happy with the end results, and what extra features does the DVD hold?
The DVD, well, start from the simplest form. The video is 90 minutes of just Scenes from a Memory in its entirety. Then the DVD is about 2.5 hours worth of material. It has all of Scenes in its entirety, and then it has another hour's worth of live footage, as well as a photo gallery, an audio commentary by us, and a few extra things, a half-hour documentary. And then the CD is the full 3-hour plus concert. So each of the 3 formats offer something different.
No, is it selling well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. You've been getting good positive reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, Mike, my next question is, which is your favourite album that you've done then? Previous albums, which is your favourite one, would you say?
Oh, that's like choosing a favorite child, if you're a father. That's hard to say. I think for me, I don't know. Of course, the latest album you're doing is always special because it's the freshest and it's the newest. So I'm really still kind of hot on that. But looking back on our career, I think Scenes was probably the most creatively satisfying experience for me because, I think the music was written well. I think it was a great opportunity for me to, co-produce for the first time, and then I got to direct the video, and just the whole conceptual direction of it, doing a concept album was very satisfying and fulfilling. So I think that may be my favorite album.
Or at least favourite.
Oh, I'm being called. I think we only have a couple more minutes.
Really? Oh, shit. All right, we better talk about the new album then. Let's talk about the new album. So, this album also seen the band in a different direction, more towards the weight. Do you agree? It's kind of like gone more towards like the weight heaviness of the band.
Well, we've always had heavy stuff. We've always had progressive stuff. I think this time the heaviness probably jumps out because the first track is heavy for 14 minutes straight. I mean, it's relentless. It doesn't let go. So the Glass Prison is totally Pantera, Megadeth, Metallica influenced. So, right from the get-go, it's balls to the wall. But then, if you listen to the whole album, the whole 95 minutes, you're going to hear a balance of lots of things like anything else. It's more extreme. The heavy stuff is heavier. The experimental stuff is more experimental. It's like anything else. It's got a bit of everything.
All right, Mike, my next question is, so why did you decide to call the album The 6 Degrees?
It stemmed from the title track. First, the first thing we had was the song 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, which is the title, the 42-minute track. And when looking for an album title, we figured that, it kind of summed up the album as well, so we decided to name the album that as well, just because there's 6 tracks on the album and it kind of sums it up.
Right, does it reflect on the music, the title?
Does it reflect on what?
The music for the album, the title of the album. What do you say it reflects?
Yeah, I mean, because it's 6 songs and it's 6 different levels of, different, musical and personal experiences, so I suppose you can apply it that way, yeah.
Alright, so why did you decide to release it as a double CD? Is it because of the length of the album or?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the sessions, we found ourselves with 95 minutes, and we weren't willing to put anything, on the shelf. We wanted to include it all, so luckily the label was supportive in doing a double CD.
Right, okay. The next question is, was it difficult to write and record this album with yourself and, John? Have you moved away from having producers now? Do you feel more confident doing it yourselves?
Yeah, I've always felt more comfortable doing it ourselves without any outside interference. I always felt that we didn't need a producer in this band. We already had plenty of opinions and chefs in the kitchen in this band. Last thing we need is a 6th person to add to the chaos. So yeah, I'm totally comfortable and confident with just us running the ship, and it wasn't a hard record to make. It was like anything else, Once we get together, the ideas start flowing so quickly, it's hard to get them all in, It's quite the opposite. It's not like we are running out, we can't find ideas and we have trouble finding the inspiration. It's quite the opposite. We have so much that it's hard to get it all in.
Right, so what songs stand out for you on this album? Which ones do you think are the ones that make them?
Well, I love The Glass Prison because I love the heavy side, I think that's total balls to the wall, but I think the title track, is probably the quintessential Dream Theater epic, covering so much ground in that 42 minutes. It's kind of like the biggest, grandest, over-the-top piece we could ever have written.
Well, okay, are you going to be doing a promo video for this album? And if so, which track?
No, I think doing promo videos for a band like Dream Theater is a complete waste of our time and money. And the last time we made one was for Falling Into Infinity, and it was against our will, just because MTV is not going to play a band like Dream Theater. So to spend $100,000 making something that Headbangers Ball might play twice, it's a ridiculous waste of money. So we've given up on that, and even if the label tries to talk us into it, we'll refuse to do it. I would much rather take that budget and put it towards long form video or DVDs or home video or DVDs, because I think that's a much better format or for a band like ours. So last time around, rather than doing a promotional video, we took that budget and made a DVD, which has sold well and has definitely been that much more satisfying for the fans than just a 5-minute promo video that they get to watch once.
Oh, excellent. So you're on tour now with Pain of Salvation. How was the tour going with Pain of Salvation? How do you get on with them?
They're a great band, a great bunch of guys. I've known Daniel for years, and Daniel just did the transatlantic tour with me as like a hired gun, so he's a very talented guy, and I'm glad to have them out. I think they deserve the exposure that they're going to get on this tour, so hopefully it'll be a very good thing for them.
So why did you only do 2 dates in the UK then? What was the reason? Are you going to come back to these shows?
Yeah, we'll probably be back through. Usually when we tour, we'll go through Europe and the UK several times, so I'm sure this will be no different. I'm sure.
So I would have gone and seen you in Manchester, but I've never gone back there after seeing Judas Priest there last year, because the security are complete dicks. They really are. I didn't like the security there at all.
Well, that's too bad. You missed a good show.
I know, man. When you come up a bit more further up north, I'll come and see you, man. Right then, so...
okay.
So just before you go, Mike, have you got anything to say to the fans, and thanks for doing the interview?
Just thanks to the English fans, because it's really... There's been a lot of progress for us in England, and it's not due to, MTV or radio. It's due to the fan base really just spreading the word, and, it's been great, being able to play the Hammersmith Apollo and places like the Manchester Apollo. It's just that the crowds have really taken a step forward for us in England, and it's nice to see it coming up to the level of our fan base everywhere else in the world. So it'll just make it possible for us to keep coming back.